Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Friday, November the 15th, race number 8 at Aqueduct. Let's throw up the field for this 62,500 optional claimer with a second level allowance condition attached. It is a full field going 3/4 of a mile on the outer turf, 10 in the body of the race, 11 through 14 also eligible. It's kind of wide open, Mike. I think you can go several different ways. Biz Buzz finished second last time out. First off the maker claim. He's always been a solid horse. A lot of minor awards.
Yeah, he's a nice fit in this race to be sure. And he did run well off the maker claim last time. Although, personally speaking, I didn't think he had much of an excuse not to win there. He did get beat by a good horse at the end. It was a fine performance. He gets Irad here. He's one of the ones, Dan, but I could say that about just about everybody in this field.
Curious to see what our friends at Timeform US have to say from a pace standpoint. Here's the Timeform US pace projector. They believe this pace will be run at a fast pace, and why not? The number 2, Java Buzz, does have a lot of early speed and was part of a fast pace last time out. And we've seen Boats a Rockin' in New York in the past show some speed against decent horses and do well. So yes, I do think the pace could be solid.
I think that was my first takeaway when I went through the field the first time, Dan. I just felt like there was a lot of pace in this race, and I did think the pace was going to be pretty solid.
If you believe the pace will be hot, keep an eye on the number 6, Live High, Live Low. Live High, Live Low has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. We'll start things off with a horse that also would benefit from a quick pace up front, and that's the number 1, Seaver, who rallied from downtown during the spring to win going 5/8 of a mile at Gulfstream. Never easy to do on that turf course with a shortish stretch. Last time out, again, a good rallying effort to be second behind Fluid Situation. One of the good things about Seaver is he's rarely bet. He goes out for a really underrated trainer, and he might get the right race flow.
Yeah, all those things are true. And he's probably just going to be a really fair price in here, Dan. He ran okay last time. He was a big price that day. I'm not sure how I feel about that Fluid Situation race overall. I'm a big fan of Fluid Situation, who's also back in here. I'm also a big fan of the third place finisher in that race, Straight Arrow. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just making this overly complicated. And Seaver just ran really well last time, and you're just supposed to use him in here with the right running style. I don't really like that race he's coming out of.
Java Buzz, the number 2, one of the expected speeds. I'm going to draw a line through that last race. I just thought that pace was way too hot for him. It was a closer's race. Everyone came from the back of the pack, and Java Buzz was wound up, contesting very hot fractions before tiring. My problem is I really couldn't find the excuse 2 back. I really couldn't find the excuse 3 back. Both at short prices. We've seen speed fade both times.
I'm not going to add anything to that, Dan. I mean, he didn't run well last time. That pace was pretty solid. He took some pressure up there, but he was bad last time. And if you want to give him a pass for that, then you have to go to the races 2 and 3 back off the claim. And I'm with you. I just didn't see his excuses in those races.
Barzini ships up from the Mid-Atlantic area for a very good trainer in Michael Trombetta. I thought this guy ran pretty well 2 starts back during the summer. He was sort of over and behind horses in upper stretch, wound up in between and finished okay. But then he went to the layoff, and last time out he was very keen in the early part of that race and wound up tiring. The key for Barzini, in my opinion, is he needs to be covered up in the early part of his races. I can see that happening here. I also think he's taking a step up in class.
Yeah, I agree with you. He doesn't look like the easiest horse to ride when you go back and watch his race. I mean, that one, maybe he was just a little fresh off the layoff then, but they wrangled this horse into the pocket early. He wouldn't even sit there. He wouldn't stay. He went right back up to contest the pace. He got tired through the stretch. I actually feel like that's an underrated performance. If he can get the right trip in here, and I get that it's a pretty big if because it looks like he doesn't really want to settle, but if they can get him to do that, I think he's dangerous. I'm going to use this horse at a price.
5th place horse in the last race came back to place in a $30,000 starter optional at Laurel, earned a 78 Beyer speed figure. Charging is the number 4, and this horse is getting just severe class relief, dropping out of 3 consecutive stakes. Ran really well in Laurel, and the King T Leather buried 3 starts back against Whitty, just missing by a neck. Probably in too tough in his last 2 against the likes of Groom's Old Business, who's a good Mid-Atlantic sprinter, and Big Invasion, who we know is very good on his best day. Getting Lasix once again with the speed to get close to the pace, just a logical threat.
Yeah, exactly. Needs this little drop in class to be sure. Again, he didn't run great in the Harvey Pack last time, but he did chase a really fast pace in there and just got a little tired there. I thought his races 2 and 3 back, I just thought he ran really well in both of those. The get serious, it might not look like he did much in there. I thought he had a terrible trip in that race and actually ran way better than it looks. He's a very strong contender in here.
Biz Biz Buzz was claimed away from Trombetta by Michael Maker over the summer at Saratoga. Came back with a decent performance at a big price at this level, going 3/4 at Aqueduct. Couldn't really find the excuse. Tracked a moderate pace 3 wide as a big look at it here in the stretch, and is just going to wind up being second best.
Yeah, just don't. I'm with you. I just don't feel like he ran great in here. He ran fine. He got a really good trip. He got a solid figure for it. I just feel like if he was any good, and the horse that runs him down here is a good horse, 26 Black, but he's just no match. I just wasn't taken with this performance. It's not like his other races, do a ton for me. I do feel like he's going to get the right trip in this race, though.
I think Live High, Live Low is a very good chance in this race. Not only is he dropping out of a stakes race where he was second, we're going to take a look at Live High, Live Low. But in this race, the horse that went out to the lead, Mike, just never comes back to anybody. He just went right to the front and shell shocks this group. Live High, Live Low is going to end up rallying for second. So he gets wired here. Now he drops in class, gets Lasix, and gets some pace to run at. I like the way he was finishing up this race, considering he was turning back to a sprint for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. He does run really well in here. He could not threaten that winner, but that winner just never really gave that field a chance. And the horse that finished right behind him in that race works for me. Came right back last weekend here at Aqueduct and dead heated in the Turf Sprint Championship with a 92 bar. That's a really good horse.
Fluid Situation is up next, and Fluid Situation was given a little bit of a break by a very good trainer in John Terranova. He came back listed as a new gelding, and that seemed to work for Fluid Situation, who was 12-1 in this spot. He's in here, and he gets right up close to the pace, which might have been key. He's very game, though, to win. He's a horse that does have a little bit of back class, and maybe the gelding process just turns this horse into a new horse. I like his tactical speed.
I do too. He's a good horse. There's no doubt about it, and he's certainly a good fit in this race. This is a really nice win for him at an overlaid price at 12-1. Dan, he got a perfect trip in this race, but he still ran, to his typical form there, and maybe he can do even a little better now, second off the short layoff. He's a contender in here. I just want to wait and see what kind of price he is.
14-time winner Boats a Rockin' looked good taking a second level allowance at Saratoga over the summer against some decent competitions. Been a little bit of an in and outer since then. A win 2 starts back at Monmouth at the Meadowlands. Really don't love the quality of competition in those races, but his speed makes him dangerous. And last time at Keeneland, A, he was in against way tougher, and B, he went way too fast on the lead.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it's a post 10 probably didn't do him any favors in that most recent start. He's a horse who he kind of has that feel that he just needs the lead, Dan, if he's going to be effective. So we'll see how much of the speed to his inside, how much they can affect this horse, because it does feel like if you make him race early, he's just not quite the same.
Dr. Ozeran, the number 9, hinted at being a stakes horse as a 2-year-old and into his 3-year-old season, and layoffs just kind of unfortunately took their toll on him. He's still a quality horse, but maybe just not at that level. Here's his most recent race. His first off the Joe Sharp Claim. They found a great spot for this horse. Now winner's a 3-life, $20,000 claimer. Dr. Ozeran gets blinkers for the first time, and he felt handsome in them.
Yeah, just wins this race really, really easily at a short price. It doesn't get much of a figure, but he's got faster races to get to. He wins this race pretty easily. His race 2 back when Clement dropped him at Saratoga, that's an underrated performance there. He totally blew the start in there and actually ran really, really well. I don't know if this is the right spot for him. They're really stepping him up in class here to face a tough field, but he's got a race in him that would give him some kind of a chance at a price.
Gaslight Dancer was a stakes winner at Keeneland in 2023. Rick Dutrow dropped in for $35,004 back to take him, and he got a win 2 starts back on September the 19th. He came from off the pace that day. I think he looked pretty strong winning that race, however, off of a fast pace. Last time out, just lost the rider at the break. He's going to need some pace. He might get it. He's stepping up in class, though.
He is stepping up pretty significantly too, but he's in really good form right now. And it's not like he doesn't. These are the kinds of horses that you expect guys to do well with off the claim. And Dutrow's done it. This horse has tons of backlash. He's a prior stakes winner sprinting on the turf, and he just, for whatever reason, lost his form. Dutrow took him for 35. He's gotten this horse good again. Forget about the last race. His prior 2 starts were both really good performances, and there's going to be pace for him to come after in here.
Before we take a look at our top selections, everyone else in the field's entered main track only. Please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time, Friday, race of the day, Big A, Turf Sprint. You're going with Charging on the Drop.
Yeah, I just think they found a good spot for him here, Dan, and he'll be forward. I don't look at him as a need the lead horse. So if this pace is fast, I don't think it's going to bother him that much. I like this spot for him. I was very interested in the 3 also, Barzini. I think that horse is going to be a good price, and I want to try to get him in there somewhere.
Gaslight Dancer, the number 10's my top pick. He is stepping up in class, but he does, as Mike mentioned, have the back class to perhaps prevail against these, and you might get the right setup. I also think the 6, Live High, Live Low, might have just been up against it last time out when wired. Might have found himself as a turf sprinter. Think there's some upside, gets a better race flow. 4, 3, 10, 9 for Mike. 10, 6, 5, 7 for me. It's a wide open Friday race of the day. Make sure to head on over to the Race of the Day event page and access those free Formulator Pass performances. Best of luck. Hey buddy, you look like you're in need of a winner, and just remember, if you like and subscribe right over here, you can get all of the great content on DRF.com, including Race of the Day, stakes previews, and lots more, featuring me and my superb selections. Trust me, you're not going to regret it.